Guys, first is about a boot processing. So first of all, I will explain the steps in the boot processing. Okay, up to here. Then again, we'll go to the boot processing with the steps, and at certain steps, we got some issues. So if you got this issue and which step it is occur and what is the solution we can do it, so that is we can able to think about it. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so again, what is the boot processing? We'll see. So you have a system. I have a machine, either it is virtual machine or a physical machine. It is when you power on your system. First of all, you have to press the power button, right? It's a laptop or mobile phone. You have to press the power button to turn on the device. Okay. So when you press the power button, so something will happen. Power is distributed and some logos, something is happened inside a system. And finally, we got a screen that is log into your device. Then you log in. Okay. And we finally got our desktop. It shows like this. Morning I came at almost I was a little late today. So 5-10 minutes late. Okay. Um, as per our clock. Okay. So I log in. I immediately open the laptop. Okay. So power on. And I started having my breakfast. Then okay. And also I send a message to you. So join the class at 10:50. So after 2-3 minutes, I got a login screen. So I log into my laptop. After 2-3 minutes, the screen is appear. So then I can just I went to this Microsoft Teams, go to the meeting, turn on the just go open. I open meeting and keep it like that. After 5-10 minutes, again I started the meeting. So you can able to join and wait for me. Okay. So some people will not exactly on the time, means they will join after 5 minutes. So we leave like that. So people join, we started class, right? So what happened when I pressed the power button and I got the screen? What is happen in the system? It is there is a step-by-step process happens in the system. The understanding of that step-by-step process is called a boot process. Okay, what is the boot processing? It is turning on your device. Okay, loading operating system. Simple. There is a different answers are there, guys. Okay, it is a process of turn on your system. What is a boot processing? It is a process of turning on your system. And another way you can also say, what is a boot processing? Loading operating system. So when you turn on your PC, the process of loading operating system. When you power on your system, okay, when system is power on, the loading of operating system process is called a boot processing. That is also correct answer. Okay, different ways you can tell. That's what I'm saying. So powering on your system, or turning on your system. Okay, the process of turning on your system or loading the system is also boot processing. Step-by-step process of system booting. Step-by-step process of system booting. That is also boot processing. So, okay, when system is turned on, when system power is on, the process of loading operating system. The process of loading operating system is called a boot process. Not installing. Loading is different. Installing is different. Installing means you put some CD or pen drive and you are installing operating system freshly. That is installation. Okay. Earlier it is not there. Now it is doing that. But booting is already OS is there. Just you are loading an operating system from your bootable drive to your system. Okay. OS is there in your hard disk. And that OS has to be loaded into your RAM. then only we can able to work. The required operating system file has to be loaded into your RAM, then only we can able to work on your system. Okay, so that is boot processing, guys. Any small way you can able to tell what is a boot processing. One is like a step-by-step process of system from a step-by-step process from system turning on to the user got a screen. In my words, when system is turned on, if system is turned on, after some time user got finally a screen to work. As I said, so morning I came, I power on my laptop, and finally I log in, and now I got a screen, so I can work on it. Okay, so that is what my words are. Boot processing. You want more charming kind of stuff? You can tell. So loading operating system, the step-by-step process of loading operating system. When system is powered on, the step-by-step process of loading operating system in the system called boot processing. That is way also you can able to tell. Okay. In another way is so like a um, turning on your system, the process of turning on your system, like that also. Okay, powering on your system. Okay, the process of turning on your system. Okay, or step by steps. The steps involved in the booting time called boot process. The steps involved in the booting time. So like that's a different way you can tell. So one is quite easy answer is when you power on your system, the process of loading an operating system is called a boot process. Process of loading operating system called a boot process. Okay, like that's a good answer. Step by step process of turning on your system or loading your system, turning on it instead of turning on, loading your system to work. Okay, by user, right? Like that, you can able to tell step by step process of loading your system or booting your system. Step by step process of booting your system called a boot process. Okay, so any way you can able to tell, but don't deviate too much from the actual point. So I said when power is on, first is you power on your system, then user get a screen. In between, there is a step-by-step process is there by the system, not you. There is a step-by-step process from start to user got a screen called a boot process. Okay. So what is this boot processing? It is involves, guys. Remember the very first point is post. What is a post? Anyone? Because I told already 2-3 times what is post. Tell me, no problem. What is post? Why people are not speaking?
Power on self-test, sir.
Very power on self-test. When you power on your system, either it can be a desktop or it can be a laptop or mobile phone like that. When you power on your system, the power supply will be distributed to your entire system components. Okay, power is distributed to entire your system components. So then system tests itself to make sure the primary components are working or not, like a CPU, RAM, okay, RAM, BIOS, okay, and motherboard, onboard components, like there is a onboard chipsets are just so there. So those components it will verify. In case your hard disk is not working, don't worry. Okay. But primary components to boot your system is your CPU, RAM and ROM means BIOS and motherboard, chipsets, and make sure that is working. Once it is test is success, then it go for the second step of boot processing. If test is failure, then you have to do the troubleshoot. Okay. So what is the post? Power on self-test. The first step is power on self-test. System test itself to make sure all primary components, CPU, RAM, motherboard chipsets are working or not. So post is successful, means test is successful, it go for next step. Post is failed, we have to go to, it's a boot failure, then we need to do troubleshooting. Boot failed, so you need to do a troubleshooting. Okay, so that is the point. Next one is, yeah, we can remove this one. So we should not put this one always. The first step simple must be there. Next one is find a MBR record. How you find an MBR record? First, BIOS tell where to search MBR record. Depends upon the boot priority. In the BIOS, we have a boot priority list is there. In the list, it is like this. Check in the CD-RAM, check in the hard disk, check in the USB drives, like that, right? So your system try to find is OS is in the CD-RAM? No. Is OS is in the hard disk? Yes. And load it. Okay. So you have to find an MBR record or GPT record. MBR record is a older one. GPT is there nowadays, but because we are speaking from old the only type, okay, like still we are speaking like a BIOS, MBR kind of stuff. Okay, so the old terminologies only we are using. That's why I keep it like that only. I didn't change it. So, so finding an MBR record. So your BIOS will tell where to search MBR record based on the boot priority. BIOS will give from BIOS, there is a boot priority. Based on the boot priority, you have to search for your operating system information from there, MBR or a GPT record. In generally, OS is in hard disk. So in the hard disk, you have to search for the MBR record. What is this MBR record will tell? It is tell where is your bootloader. Where is your bootloader? So it is where is my bootloader? The C drive, and this is a some bootloader location. Okay, where is the bootloader? These bootloader names are different from one OS to another OSs. In the olden days, Windows XP time, it is NTLDR, and in Windows 7 onwards, even Windows 10 also having this Bootmgr as bootloader. And in a Linux, GRUB is a bootloader. GRUB version 2 is a current Linux bootloader version. Thus, bootloader will tell how to load operating system and location of operating system. The bootloader will tell us where is an operating system and how to load operating system. So it is bootmgr location, we got it. Now this bootmgr will tell where is an operating system and how to load operating system. You can see 30 seconds information, English, US, okay, which way it is has to be loaded. So bootloader will tell us how to load and where is the operating system and how to load operating system. And the fourth step is now OS is loaded and you got a login screen. Okay, then you given username and password, you log into the system. Once you log in the system, system startups, services, applications will run in the system. Okay, this is our boot process. Okay, so this is a desktop system. If you see clearly, when I power on my system, the power is distributed to the devices. Okay, and system test itself to make sure all primary components working or not. Okay, if it is working, then it goes to search for a bootable device based on the boot priorities. It search for the bootable device based on the boot priorities. Once it is find the bootable device, it load its bootloader OS related bootloader into the RAM. So then bootloader will tell where is an operating system and location of operating system. Okay, sorry, where is an operating system means location of operating system. Then how to load this operating system. Meaning is OS has different modes of loading is there. Full mode, safe mode, multi-user mode, single user mode, okay, multi-user mode with networking, multi-user mode with a graphical user interface. It's like in Linux also we have a four modes of OS loading is there. In Windows we have a two modes of OS is there. Okay, so in a Windows server also used earlier that is two modes, three modes of OS loading is there in that one. Okay. One is GA mode, CLI mode, and another one is safe mode. Okay. What is that? How, where is the OS and how to load OS will tell by the bootloader. Bootloader. So the once it is told, so we load operating system from the, okay, we load the operating system and OS is loaded. You got a login screen. Then you can give the username password. Once you log into your system, the startups user, startup applications, services will run in your system. Guys, understand boot processing?
Yes, sir.
So here it is in this picture, you can see power on. The first step is post. When you power on, power is distributed to the system. Then first operation is post. After post, searching for the bootable device. See, it is in my lines, as I said now. So I've written about MBR record and all. So instead of that one also, you can jump directly boot priorities. Okay. So based on the boot priorities, it search for the boot devices. You can say the BIOS will tell about a boot priorities, right? So based on the boot priorities, you try to search for the operating system drive in your system. Okay. So once you find the, which is the first hit of OS drive, so then we load OS from the drive only. Okay. We load bootloader from that drive. The bootloader will tell how to load operating system. Once OS is loaded, Once OS is loaded, then we got a login screen. Log into the system. The additional startups, users, startup applications, services will start automatically. So you can skip that MBR part also. So first is post. When you power on your system, power is distributed to your system components and system test itself to make sure that primary components working or not. That process we call it as post, power on self-test. What is the second one? The BIOS have a boot priority. So this based on this boot priority, you have to search for the bootable drive. Okay, based on the priority. Okay, what to do? search bootable device. Okay, based on BIOS boot priority. Okay, based on the BIOS boot priority. So search for the device. Find the device first. What is the third step? Load bootloader from your OS drive. You find your OS drive based on the priorities. You search one by one. Finally, you find the device, then find the bootloader in it. Okay, load the bootloader. Load the bootloader in different places. The bootloader name is different. Different OSs, different bootloader names are there. But what is the purpose of this bootloader? Once it is loaded into the RAM, once it is loaded into the RAM, means into the system, it tells how to load OS. Bootloader will tells how to load OS. Important is where is the OS and how to load OS. Because sometimes bootable files are separated from operating system files. In certain systems like Linux and Unix, OS files are separately stored and bootable files are separately stored. So like that, where is OS and how to load OS? Okay. Once it is OS is loaded, okay, when OS means first kernel will load, then shell of the operating system will load. Then we'll get a login interface. Log into the system, then you will get it. Startups, background startups, application, startup, services. Will start. Guys, understand the 6 steps? Is it easy? These 6 steps?
Yes, sir.
Okay, compulsory note down, guys. Okay, this is the 6 steps. Yeah. What is the next one? Boot processing. Why again boot processing came? This time, again, I will tell the process and issue. If you got this issue, it is which step you got this issue. If you got this type of issue and which place you are getting, what is the solution? Okay. So there is a majorly two issues are there at a boot time. So both I will tell. And the end of the booting, so you will get a startup kind of stuff. That is a troubleshooting is there. That is also we're going to discuss. And service management, startup management is there. Both the things we're going to discuss after this one. Okay. So process is important, issues also important. So now take a break. Okay, and there is a message. The power on self-test. Okay. The next one is like a troubleshooting. We can able to take it. So it is 11:38. So come back at 11:55.